Hey everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is your news report, second stimulus check update, and second stimulus package update. Happy Tuesday everybody, I hope you're having a great day so far. According to political news, President Trump backs new stimulus checks amid Hawley push. Remember folks that Senator Josh Hawley and other congressional leaders like Bernie Sanders and AOC are pushing for $1,200 direct payments in the next stimulus bill. And it seems to have worked because Steve Mnuchin has just proposed a $916 billion proposal. The Treasury Secretary has proposed a $916 billion stimulus bill, which includes state aid and stimulus payments. And according to the Washington Post, the White House has proposed dramatically lower unemployment benefits in exchange for a $600 stimulus payment. Now my message to American government is to put the political games aside. The great American people need stimulus checks right now. And they also need their unemployment benefits, which are set to expire the day after Christmas. Congress must pass more stimulus relief right now. If you agree with my message, then leave a comment down below saying I agree. And before we get into the video, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the notifications bell. That way you'll never miss all of the newest and most up-to-date, reliable stimulus check information. Let's get this video to 5,000 likes if you think that Congress must pass more stimulus relief.
See another stimulus package?
This, I think, is the biggest breakthrough that we have seen so far in months and months of negotiation. This $916 billion proposal, slightly higher than what lawmakers were talking about previously. But the most important thing is that it really makes progress in two of the issues that lawmakers have clashed the most over. That's money for state and local government, as well as robust liability protection for businesses, schools, and universities. The proposal also contains about $600 worth of stimulus checks for Americans.
Everybody tell me your thoughts on Steve Mnuchin. Is he doing what he's supposed? Is he doing all that it takes to get a second stimulus bill approved for the people of America? And according to Yahoo News, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell suggested on Tuesday that congressional negotiators temporarily drop the two most contentious stimulus provisions so that Democrats and Republicans can agree on a new pandemic stimulus legislation before the end of the year. McConnell told reporters, "What I recommend is we set aside liability and set aside state and local and pass those things that we can agree on. We'll be back at this after the first of the year." Democrats have repeatedly called for aid for state and local governments to be included in any new deal. A sticking point for Republicans, with McConnell calling it a blue state bailout. Yahoo News reports that Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said in response to McConnell, the state and local funding provided by the state and local provisions have broad bipartisan support. Unlike the extreme corporate liability proposal, Republicans, led by McConnell, have repeatedly called for giving companies liability protections from pandemic-related claims from workers either until as far as the end of 2024.
Hash out last-minute disagreements and finalize a piece of legislation, but so far they have not done so. It seems that liability protections are still the really big sticking point here. We heard from several senators yesterday who are tossing around various ideas, but they have yet to come to an agreement. Another big sticking point has been state and local aid. That's been the story throughout these negotiations, and it seems that those two issues are sort of intertwined at this point because Republicans want liability protections, Democrats want state and local aid, and it doesn't look like you'll have one without the other. Senator John Cornyn said that he recommended taking both of those issues out and moving forward with what they could agree on. He told reporters that idea went over like a lead balloon. Then we also have the issue of stimulus checks. There are no stimulus checks in this package as it stands right now. And we've heard from the most progressive wing of the Democratic Party saying that that should be in the package.
And some Democrats call this a poison pill of any proposed legislation. Now folks, tell me what you think is going on in Congress. And do you think that a second stimulus bill would be approved by the end of the year? Yahoo News goes on to say that the most recent proposal to gain traction is the $908 billion bipartisan proposal, unveiled last week, which includes $160 billion in aid to state and local governments, as well as limited liability provisions. McConnell suggested that parts of that stimulus plan, while avoiding the sticking points, would be included in legislation needed in the 2 weeks to avert a partial government shutdown. McConnell told reporters on Tuesday, we cannot leave without doing a stimulus bill. The country needs it. We've got 2 weeks of important business left to do, and that's where I'm going to concentrate my time. Remember folks, that up to 12 million Americans are expected to lose unemployment benefits coverage when two programs enacted under the CARES Act expire on December 26th. So Congress must pass more stimulus relief. They have no choice. The American people need help now. If you agree, then leave a comment down below saying, I agree. According to the Washington Post, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin has included $600 stimulus payments in his new stimulus bill. The Treasury Secretary had proposed that lawmakers approve another stimulus check worth around $600 per person and $600 per child. The new White House proposal represents a sharp rejection of the bipartisan efforts that have gotten Democrats and Republicans closer to a compromise on the legislative package. Under the bipartisan framework released last week by a group of moderate senators, Congress would approve about $180 billion in new federal unemployment benefits for tens of millions of jobless Americans. That would be enough to fund federal supplementary unemployment benefits at $300 per week, while extending various unemployment programs that are set to expire at the end of the year. By contrast, Steve Mnuchin has submitted a plan to provide about $40 billion in new funding for federal unemployment benefits. Mnuchin's plan would extend expiring benefits, but does not include any supplementary federal benefit. House Speaker Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer strongly criticized the proposal by the White House. They said, the bipartisan talks are the best hope for bipartisan solution. The president's proposal starts by cutting the unemployment insurance proposal, being discussed by bipartisan members of the House and Senate, from $180 billion to $40 billion. That is unacceptable. Everybody tell me in the comments down below, do you prefer a $1,200 stimulus payment or the extension of federal unemployment benefits? Tell me what you think in the comments down below.
Never mentions those poison pills in his speeches to this chamber, where he excoriates Democrats for refusing to pass, quote, bipartisan legislation that everyone agrees on. But bipartisan does not mean Democrats must agree to whatever the Republican leader wants or whatever issues he picks.
Another big issue that you mentioned, Julie, is government funding. The government is set to shut down on December 11th if they don't come to a deal. So Congress is taking up a short-term.
The Washington Post goes on to say that President Trump previously backed extending federal unemployment benefits at elevated levels. With that being said, folks, that's all the news in today's video. Before you go, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the notifications bell. That way you will never miss all of the newest and most up-to-date, reliable stimulus check updates. Thank you for watching, everybody, and until next time, have a great day.
So now we have our usual sort of commingling of the big job here of